Hi, my name is Shawn. This is my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek. He's really excited for some. I don't even know. Are you allowed to be excited? Is that in the objective scope of work?
Yes, I just have to say it
You just
and
have to.
declare it.
You have to declare it, and it has to be for valid, unambiguous reasons.
Yeah.
And it is with grateful hearts that we get to be with you here today in light of all the horrible things happening in the world. We're glad that we get to be here and still do this, thankfully. I've been more grateful for it's been a humbling day. I've been more grateful for everything today. I don't know about you, but that's enough about me. Chris, how was your week?
This week is fairly stressful. I'm not gonna lie, but
That's
the
weird.
beginning of the week started off stressful and for a good reason. I had a job interview yesterday. Don't think I got the job. Maybe I got the job. I don't know, but
It's
I
a stressful
always like
experience either way.
yeah, I always stress out about job interviews, and it gets to the point of like a little bit of anxiety. And the thing is that I hate, like a lot of people hate anxiety, is that it's for no reason. And for me, I get nervous for job interviews up until the interview, and then once the interview starts, it those nerves just go completely away. Like they're nowhere to be found. The
The
thing is,
the Kobe of job
which
interviews.
that's
You got
yeah,
veins of steel.
which is good. Like, and the thing is, I'm that way no matter what the level of I'm that way no matter the event, right? So like we would play basketball for intramural city division three, which is lowest division. I would get really nervous before every single game. No reason. There's no stakes involved in these games whatsoever.
My opinion
But
probably
once
doesn't matter because I get nervous before everything at all the time. So my opinion is probably invalid here because I think I just am nerves.
but then once I start doing those things, including the job interview and basketball, those nerves just go completely away, which is good, I guess, but still it's nerve-wracking. The interview itself went fine. I had to take like a test like beforehand, and I bombed some sections of that test. It was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Uh,
As a
I mean,
guy
I
who
could.
develops those tests, I can tell you that don't worry, most people bomb at least big chunks of those. Like that's common. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I make those
that's,
things for a living. It's fine.
yeah, it's good to know. Like when we at Payless, you had to take a test, right? When you interviewed.
Some kind of math
Yeah, so
test, I think.
yeah, I took that test. I think you like had to pass those tests.
We
Um,
always heard that, like I say we, I mean like our group, you, me, and those people.
yeah,
I don't know if it's true or not, but like what we always like to say is if you didn't pass that certain portion, then you had to be the other thing. You didn't get to be the analyst. You had to be the other.
yeah.
I can't remember what the name of it was. The
Buyer.
no,
Oh, I'm
no.
sorry.
Oh goodness, what did our friends Sam and John and those people start out? The
PO people who
PO. Was that what it was? It remember?
PO assistants.
Do you remember
Yeah,
John Hayden and Sam
yes.
McGee started out as
Mm,
that, and I can't think of what it was, but it was the other thing.
I don't know.
And when I got into HR, I found that that's totally, absolutely false, but it was funny to think about on the other side. It's funny what circles around. Today,
um,
sorry, I'm in a negative mood, so I'm going to try to focus on positive things. We talk about basketball. I have positive memories of playing basketball because I like playing basketball, but I never experienced a lot of success at basketball. But do you remember that one time when we hadn't won a game all year and then we destroyed that
yes.
other like pretty decent team by like 30 or something outrageous, just
It,
absolutely outlandish. And
yeah.
then they got the
We
standings wrong. It was the last game of the year, so nothing it didn't matter less than it already does not matter. But they got the standings wrong, like they got the scores wrong and just assumed that we lost by 30 and then you
yeah.
contacted them and had them corrected.
Because I was the manager. Listen, we won. The thing
No,
is,
let me back you
that's
up on
that's one
that
of the
because that was important to me because we strategized that game. We went in with a game
exactly
plan.
yes.
We played our best ball by miles. I totally had your back. I'd have done the same thing. So thanks, Chris, for doing the
We
things that some
yeah.
people don't want to do.
We did strategize for like a whole week
We
because
did.
the guy on the other team, his name was Corey, great at shooting threes. He
Cody.
would all
And
Cody,
he's
you're right,
tall,
Cody,
man. He's a
great at
big,
shooting
like,
threes.
you got to get in his
And he's like
face.
6'3"
At least, yeah,
or
six
something.
three, 6'4". I don't know, he's taller than
But
us, that's for sure. So it's like, all right, and
yeah,
he
but
would pull up. He had a really nice, he had like a really nice step in. It was really clean. He's not
yes,
fast or anything, but a really clean step in. So like, you had to get in his face. about 5 feet from the arc, and then we're
Yeah,
shorter. So
yeah,
we we
yeah.
all
We
day,
we
yeah.
definitely game plan. We're
Like
like, listen, when he gets 3 feet past half court, get up on him. Don't let him walk into a three. Dude, I'm pretty sure he shot probably shot like 30%. You know,
I think in
and
yeah,
yeah.
I think though
So that was a great game.
the
And we were hitting our shots too.
yeah,
I
we
remember
were playing
talking
really
to
good on both sides, so I'm going to give us some credit because we
yeah.
didn't usually hit that kind of shots. But I think my favorite part is that we not only like get in his face, but we also determined like, all right, we're also going to switch. We switched on a lot of screens. Usually we didn't think this hard about intramural basketball, but we felt like this is a good opportunity. We knew the team we were playing, so we also switched on a lot of screens because that guy was their biggest guy, but he didn't rebound well and he didn't drive well. So you can switch on a lot of screens, almost have like a zone feel, but still not lose
Hmm.
a lot of the rebounding because they weren't crashes. So I feel like they missed shots and we grabbed every defensive board. I was really proud. Luke
Yeah.
Yoder, that guy he had to have like 30 boards that game. He was tearing everybody up.
No, yeah. Great
Good
game.
time. Thanks for letting me relive that memory for no apparent reason. I need some uplifting vibes right now.
Yeah. But yeah, then so I had my interview yesterday, and all week I've kind of with coronavirus and everything, we all know the Planet Comic Con's next week. We've been looking forward to it a lot, and I just thought to myself, it's gonna get canceled eventually. And that was even before Corona has gone up another level, and has really infected. No pun intended. Actually, I meant to say affected, so dumb
Yeah,
pun.
either
Anyway,
one, yeah. Either
yeah,
one.
I think anyway, yeah. It's really just affected like every single facet of life, almost every single facet of life. So Comic Con's been canceled, which that's fine. I'm kind of glad it got canceled because I didn't want to even try and make that
At
decision because
least,
there's
as I say,
money
at least
involved
we
and
don't
all.
have to decide do we go, do we not, or whatever. I wouldn't have been able to. My wife comes in contact with elderly people. I don't. There's probably a
Yeah,
more politically correct term. Like that's her job. So it's like we can't even risk.
yeah,
So I'm glad
yeah.
I
It's
didn't
funny
have
because
to
I was
make the
I was probably
decision.
more so, yeah, I was more so leaning towards not going. I was like, well, I'll wait to tell Shawn that I'm not wait until like it happens, but like wait until they
Chris, he
cancel
coming to
it
pick me up?
essentially, and I won't even.
No, man.
Nah,
No,
man,
this is
Corona's out there, and I was mostly concerned. My wife's pregnant. Due date's coming up May 17th, so we have concerns there. Even though I don't think there has huge concerns for those. Most people you're concerned about is the elderly population, because those rates are pretty high, pretty startling, honestly. But I try to be reasonably concerned about it, but not overly worry about it.
the hard part is that like the all of these things that are done isn't I everybody we like to view it as not we you and me. I think we're pretty level headed, and maybe a lot of people are. It feels like a scared thing, but it's not.
Hmm.
It's a precautionary thing. All these things that are being canceled, it's not about the people that are going to the events as much
Yeah,
as it is who they come into like it's not about you or I making a conscious decision and saying, you know what, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be careful, I'm young, I'm healthy. It's about who
no,
the other people we touch. It's almost entirely precautionary, all these things. And so that's hard to accept because it feels like a fear thing. It's not. The fact that these multi-billion dollar industries are canceling the highlights of their entire year is
yeah.
scary, but it's probably really, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost impressive. Like
Uh,
I'm almost impressed by their willingness to do it as a precaution, essentially. So
Yeah, and we talked about before about basketball. Really, the crap hit the fan. I think
yesterday,
yesterday
yeah. So
when
today is, for
yeah,
reference, today is March 12th, Thursday, and yesterday was. It'll probably go down. Poor guy. It'll probably go down as like the Rudy Gobert day or something like that. Something
yeah,
bad like that. But that's when crap hit the fan. And
yeah. So Rudy Gobert, basketball player for the Utah Jazz, like two-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a big player. It's big.
big boy,
Like he's an all-star player.
big literally and
Um,
figure. And you know what?
yeah,
Despite his actions, my all of my understanding of him as a human outside of the past 36 hours is that he's a good guy.
yeah. So for reference, um, he was found positive to have the coronavirus. He had tested for it before. He was felt sick, and he just felt sick. He was like, "Oh, I don't have it." And then I think to make light of a situation, like some people try to make light of situations by adding some comedy to it.
Other people would do it too. Like
People
we're
would
all gonna
do
point
it. And
fingers at him, but how many
yeah,
other NBA players or professional athletes would have done the same thing? Like,
yeah.
so poor guy's gonna catch a lot of flack, but he
Yeah.
seems like he's handling it
Yeah.
with grace.
He did come out. He apologized for it. He says, there's seriousness to the situation, everything like that. His teammate Donovan Mitchell, who is a bigger player than he is, bigger as an all-star caliber.
Yeah,
he got it.
He's the franchise.
He got it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the franchise. Yeah. So and then when Gobert got it, it was like immediate. The NBA just like, nah, this is delayed. We can't have this, which is really good on their part. I love the NBA. Like I love it as like a fan, maybe because I've just been a fan for so long, but I hold them to a higher regard than like the NFL. I feel like the commissioner does a really good job. Like, he does a good job, and I feel like the players have voices and everything, and they work more well together than like the NFL does.
Yeah, there always
for some
seems
reason, I feel
to
like
be more like strife between players and owners, team owners, and the commissioner himself. There seems to be way more of that in the NFL. Maybe not as much in the MLB, but I think we just don't hear as much about the MLB. No offense, baseball.
Yeah,
I'm a third favorite. It's fine. Yeah, so they shut it down really, really quickly. Kind of so like in a theme of taking things for granted. Sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. Oh, Planet Comic Con. It's one of those things that like I didn't realize how much I was looking forward to it until we started talking about it. I was like, oh, it like legitimately could get shut down, and then basketball is getting shut down. I'm a huge college basketball fan. Like the idea, even after the NBA said we're postponing, I was like, well, you know what? That makes sense. It's the NBA. Those guys play 5 games a week. Those refs officiate 4 to 5 games a week. They're touching everybody, but they're not going to touch the NCAA tournament. And they shut down the NCAA tournament. And like, even I should have known. Everybody knew. But just, I don't know,
I think once the
NBA,
I think once the higher up NBA, that set the precedent for, like, it almost had to be like NCAA had to kind of follow suit, or they just seem really irresponsible.
Look really bad, yeah. But I think the NCAA tournament is worth like $1 billion to the NCAA and all the towns it affects. Obviously, the NBA is probably worth more than that for the quantity of schedule it's going to give up.
Yeah.
The NBA will resume. Baseball will be just postponed, delayed start. NBA will resume. I'm sure they'll play some sort of condensed schedule. But the NCAA basketball bothers me as a college sports fan. I'm kind of sad because it would. This is my most selfish side coming out. So Gonzaga never won a title yet, and this seems like a reasonable year. I'm a KU fan. Seems like a reasonable year. Like it's a very level playing field. So selfishly, I was like, can we give the title to give it to Gonzaga? Be like, here, you're the honorary champions based on win percentage. Like it's totally, they have the best win percentage in college basketball. I don't know. I was a little sad that they can't give it out at this point.
I mean, they're just completely canceling it, right? They're not even postponing it?
Yeah, they're not postponing it. They're just called it off altogether. I don't know. I think it would impact too many other recruiting. They have very specific recruiting schedule windows and things like that, where if you push it back too much, it would throw it all out of the loop. So they just cancel it and they will not award it, which is kind of sad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I would have thought there was just some type of workaround there to have it in June or something. I guess
a condensed, just grab the Power 5 champions and throw them in a pool in May or whatever. I don't, but
or at least 32 teams instead of 64. Because there's rarely upsets.
We call them upsets because they don't happen that often. So But no, I'm totally on board with this. I know what I said sounds selfish. Totally on board with the decision. It's just one of those things that it seems like too big to be canceled or something. So, in a way, it's kind of humbling to see these enterprises, because they're for-profit entities willing to do what seems like a good precautionary measure. So good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Planet Comic Con, as for now, will be postponed until late summer or early fall. I would guess it'll be early fall, honestly, or it will just be moving into the next year. Either way, it's fine.
It'll be okay. We have been told our tickets will be valid at some point.
Yes, either way, our tickets will be valid. They said whatever the next event would be, because I bought our tickets Early in advance, because well, one thing we got a $25 voucher per ticket to get some merch,
Get some
and
grub,
also I
yeah.
just like buying
Oh, you
tickets
thought
in
merch? I
advance.
thought food.
No, it was not food. It was
Okay.
it
Oh
was
well,
it
that's
was
fine.
just
Whatever. Something's
swag.
fine.
Yeah,
But the beautiful part, you and I, even if they hadn't refunded or whatever, like we're at a few bucks. But some of those vendors, that's probably a pretty
they do.
significant part.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see him address the vendors by giving them the free table at the next event or what have you. So that was a
Yeah.
really nice thing to do. Way to
Yeah, and I
go,
was actually looking
Comic Con.
forward to buying. Like usually, I don't have any this time around. I didn't have any comics to buy. Usually, I do. I mean, not to buy, but to get signed. There wasn't that many creators that comic book creators that wanted to sign anything. I just really want to see four voice actors of Justice League, including Phil Lamar, who actually voices the Earth King in Avatar, which I just learned that recently for some reason. Phil Lamar also voices I forgot his name, the black guy from Futurama.
Hermes.
Uh, yes, Hermes. And he's also the one who voices Static
Oh, I had no
in
idea.
that shot. Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I
He
will
is
only
talented. Like,
voice characters with dreadlocks. That's it. That's all I can do. But
oh, he also voices Samurai Jack. He is versatile.
that's impressive right there. I would not have
Yeah.
guessed that. And we started talking about the McNeil lady a couple weeks ago,
Yes.
and like after we started picking through, I could kind of hear it. And like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess that. But like that guy, like hearing Hermes and Samurai Jack, that's really hard to. I'll think about it or I'll
Yeah.
dwell on it. But
Yeah.
such is life. So
Um, yeah, such is life. Um, but whenever there's dark times, sometimes people try to lead us out the dark, including Bryan Konietzko, who is the co-creator of Avatar: Last Airbender. He took to Instagram, which is his main mode of communication. Wish he was on Twitter because that's just easier. And also, I don't get Instagram a lot of times. Anyway, not important. But he,
Instagram is connected to Facebook, so it's alive. That's what it is.
yeah. But he did give us a little quick update on the live action series and how they're doing. So he says, "Hello, friends. Tense times, indeed. I encourage you to take the time to read the following and heed its advice as much as you can." And I'm not going to read the rest of that, but that was good advice. What followed was good advice on from reputable sources on the coronavirus, everything like that. Really good advice. But I'm not sharing that here, so I'm not following his footsteps. But after all of that, he says, there are more important things going on in the world. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Wrong one. He doesn't say that. He says,
He does say that, just not till later.
yeah, not till later. um, he says, in other news, sorry for the lack of updates on the live action adaptation of ATLA. It's been a slow process, slower than we expected, but very exciting. Things are in the works on the project. But hang in there. We'll share some info as soon as we can. But there are more important things going on in the world. It is surely going to be a rough ride for the next few months, at least. So again, let's all try to take care. Love, Bryan. So, first of all, I think this quells some of my previous concerns because at least we're getting updates, and he just admits to it being a slow process, and that makes me think more of that the process of creating the show is slow rather than the the financial workings behind the scenes,
I think
like
that's fair. Yeah.
yeah, or like the business things behind the scenes. So that gives me some words of encouragement. I mean, I wasn't like completely skeptical that was going to happen before, but it's like, hey, these things is taking a while. I wonder why. Maybe it could be because of XYZ. Maybe XYZ isn't it. Maybe it's just, hey,
It's a
if you hear his
spectrum,
beat,
and it shifts all the time. So when you don't hear stuff for a while, your perspective on the little spectrum starts to move a
yeah,
direction. I don't think Brian's ever really given people a reason to like doubt his optimism or anything like that. So his words give me comfort and confidence on a day when we all needed it. Thanks, Brian. We appreciate it.
yeah. Just good to get. It's really good just to get any news. Just the fact that this thing is still alive and well, and that they're putting their time into it. I'd rather they put as much time into it that they need to get the products and the show, the story right where they need it. Which is kind of, in a way, it makes me think that the show will be more drastically different than what I think we might be anticipating. Like, it might not just be a one for one, episode for episode adaptation.
That would be
That
good.
they're
We
yeah, I'm
it's not a
really
Disney
cool with that.
movie. We don't need that one for one nonsense. Come on.
Yeah. Because to me, like at first, I'm like, oh, it shouldn't be that hard. You already have the script right there. Like, sure, there's other things to do, like location scouting, casting, getting the right choreographers, everything like that
I'm nodding my
down.
head like I know. I don't know, but I trust you. That's why I'm nodding my head. I don't know anything about this stuff, but
Yeah,
it sounds legitimate. Yeah. And like I said,
yeah,
Brian's never given us a reason to like doubt or feel like he's just drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever. So
yeah.
very comforting. Thanks, Brian. Can we call you friend of the show, Brian? Brian? Probably not. Someday though.
I mean, he hasn't reached out back to me. It's been 26 weeks since I reached out to him
Ooh.
and Michael DiMartino.
Yeah, if you were
But
like in like relationship terms, like if you ask somebody on a date, for example, and they don't respond for 26 weeks, it's time to move on.
yeah,
Yeah. So you know what? That's okay, Brian. We'll be here waiting. We'll be ready when you're ready.
Yeah, we'll always be here. Never feel like I will not
We're not gonna be
have
like,
you on the
no, man. It's been
podcast.
30 weeks. We're a little hurt. You just come on for
Yeah.
like a second, just like hey, and just give us that little voice sample or whatever. Maybe throw our name in there so people know it's legitimate. But and then we also in the spirit of saying some more uplifting, positive things. Chris, would you like to share something? It sounds like we've got some reviews online.
Yeah,
And we
some
thought
reviews.
it would be fun to share them at
Some
this
positive.
time.
Yeah, some positive, some not so positive. But
That's fair.
it's
Yeah,
kind
that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. I'll get to it. So recently, we launched our say launch as if it was a big ordeal. We launched our Facebook page, and and we got up to how many likes do we have? We have like over 100 likes, so that's really good. Thanks to everyone for finding us. No, you're pretty sure you guys found us through the Facebook groups and stuff like that. But thanks for liking the page and liking all those things.
I don't have 100
Someone,
friends, so thanks. Yeah, it makes me feel good.
yeah.
It's a big number for
So
me.
someone did leave a review on our Facebook page. 5 out of 5. So that's good. I like that. It says great podcast. Love listening to it. That is from Nick. I won't say his last name. We like privacy here, except for Luke Yoder. Apparently, we just name called him out.
Oh, you're right. And I said John. Man, I just name drop it. I hope they don't watch the podcast because then I'll be ashamed if they email me and be like, Shawn, what the hell?
Sure they do. I'm sure my boss doesn't watch this podcast, or he'll know that I had an interview.
I
Yesterday.
sincerely, yeah. Thankfully.
He is subscribed to my YouTube channel, but I don't think he watches.
Hopefully he
videos.
sees the hour-long length of all these and then just doesn't.
Oh, he's complained about it before.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, how about that?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think anyone who physically knows me in the real world watch the channel, but they are subscribed. Like my wife one time watched a video because sometimes I talk about random things. I'm like, no one close to me is gonna listen to it. And then one time my wife was like on her phone. She was like, "Did you tell people that we were pregnant?" I was like, "Yeah, I mentioned it on the podcast," because she was reading that like a comment underneath one because someone was congratulating me. I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Why are you looking at my videos? That's weird."
I like how she was protective about being pregnant, and then you were protective, like, why my wife got to see this stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But Nick continued to say, I thanked him for a lot because I appreciate it. Nick continued to say, "You two and Jamie always have good points and bring up good points." So thank you for that. Thank you a lot. And the negative review, because gotta stay humble out here.
You know what? That's fine.
Yeah. Where did it go? I don't know where it went.
I'd be less okay with negative reviews if we were like getting paid on the review or something. That would be a much bigger deal.
But this review is from Apple, so it means maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
It is a 1-star review, which I know I'm biased, but I don't necessarily agree with this review all that much anyway. It's from, but I still feel like I should read it because he took time out to do it.
You know what? And I imagine if it's purely negative, my vote, I'll leave it to you either way. If it's purely negative, I usually just don't acknowledge that at all, like no read or whatever. But if it's like actually constructive negative or useful negative, like okay, yeah, I can swallow that.
We'll see if you can find some constructiveness out of it. It's from Bad Bob. It's B, capital B, GAHDBAB.
Hmm.
Says, so the title of it is Disrespectful Host. I was willing to give this
Interesting.
podcast I was willing to give this podcast a chance as I share a lot of the same viewpoints as the host. That's pretty positive so far. I will stop listening though after the shipping episode. So it's a very controversial episode apparently, Shawn.
I know.
Sorry if I sound patronizing here. I try not to. I found I found the host extremely rude to the guest, belittling her opinions, which it was Jamie, which I do. If we felt like if I felt like if we belittled Jamie, it's more so because we're friends with Jamie, and it's more so just like friendly quipping at each other. But
Oh my god. It's like when I tell a joke that my mother-in-law doesn't get because she's like on a different plane of humor. That's what I feel like is happening. You know what? No, I'm going to go write Jamie an apology right away.
she
Jamie,
deserves it.
She,
All
I
right,
hope
so
she listens. Jamie has to listen to this episode just to hear my apology. Jamie, I'll never fake make fun of your opinions or real make fun of them ever again. I promise.
okay, so I found the two hosts extremely rude to the guests, belittling her opinions. In contrast, she showed nothing but respect to the ships the hosts were advocates of. I get that not everyone will agree with everyone else's opinions, but the flippant way in which they dismissed her opinions was enraging. The hosts call themselves geeks, but then are dismissive and condescending towards fan culture such as fan fiction. Overall, rude hosts that come across as pompous. So thank you
Okay.
for that.
You know what? You're right. There are parts of construction in there that I accept.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
glad you found some.
And I think I'm also still crying. There are parts of construction in there, and the most meaningful part of that to me is the pompous part. It's like I never want to come off arrogant because if there's one thing that I know, it's like I'm very Galilean. I don't know anything ever, so I can take that piece to heart. Sorry,
I do
Jamie.
think my name gives a perception. My YouTube name gives a perception that I'm pompous. I call myself the objective geek. There's a little pompousness to that, as if like, not that I am that way, because I'm really not. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm open to.
It's not that it's a persona, but it's a certain amount of like marketing that you have to put into your name and into sort of the style and setup. Like, it's kind of the YouTube game, really. Chris, I would never call you pompous.
That's not something I've ever described myself as. I try to be fairly
I would
humble.
never describe you as.
Um,
I gotta.
but
I am
mean,
Jamie. I gotta. I am Jamie right now while we're doing this live. I'm just gonna be like, hey, you gotta watch this episode.
I mean, I kind of wish he would have, or she. I'm sorry if I don't know. Not being pompous. I just don't want to assume your gender. But they said they agree with a lot of our opinions early on. So hopefully they come back and give
Maybe it
us
was
a listen.
It's not that maybe we came off as dismissive of the fan fiction, and obviously that has a huge following that we also obviously don't necessarily prescribe to. So maybe we sounded too dismissive of that when we really just isn't within our sphere. I could see that being the case.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I think it might be accurate that I'm dismissive of fan fiction. I think the definition of dismissive would say that yes, that's true because I don't read fan fiction. But I'm fine. I don't think I was
kind of counts as dismissive, I suppose. So maybe there's too negative a connotation around the word dismissive. Well, we certainly don't mean to disrespect fan fiction, because if we did, I don't think we would ever allow Jamie on the show at all.
Yeah, because Jamie loves fan fiction.
We bring her on the show to represent the underrepresented portion of literature on our show.
Yeah. I respect fan fiction. I just don't read it. Like, it's just not my thing. I like reading fairly canon things, especially when it comes to things that have like one continuity, have one one storyline. I just find so much enjoyment in doing those things more so. So I hope I wasn't like condescending or disrespectful for fan fiction. Also, I don't feel like we tried to be open to a lot of the ships. And I think we were open to a lot of ships. Like we shipped everything.
You probably more than me, but in general, it's also worth remembering that it's kind of a game. At that
Yeah.
particular part it's kind of,
Hey,
maybe that's where I'm
but
coming off as I'm treating something as a game that other people. That's probably why they go to
yeah.
the medium or the thing itself is because they like the shipping potential or whatever. Maybe that's why I come off as pompous. I'm just like whatever. That's a game.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
sorry.
do know, we've had a lot of other really great comments. So thanks to everyone who's commented on all the videos very positively. Even thanks to that person, we can always grow and everything. Maybe be
Yeah.
more understanding of people's thoughts. Maybe I
The
don't know.
mere
I'm
fact
trying to
that
spin it in some
somebody,
type of.
yeah, I mean, they took time. They were not to mention on iTunes. So first of all, the fact that people are listening to us on iTunes at all, even if it's just that one person, that makes me feel pretty good. And then second of all, they still
Yeah.
took the time to like articulate their thoughts and everything. They weren't just like crap, 1 star. Like that's
No, they
still
weren't, and
far
also it
more
was very easy to
meaningful to
read, and
me.
it
Yeah.
it didn't yeah it didn't feel like someone screaming at someone on the internet. It felt more like uh, a a sincere written
A thought out
letter.
thing.
So yeah,
I
thought out. No
appreciate
matter,
that level of meaning.
yeah. So
I,
hopefully they come back to the podcast.
I
I
just
like
apologized to Jamie in our group text, but also told her to listen to the episode.
yeah,
Jamie, that's why we need you here to keep us in line. She is a great guest. She's a
yes.
tremendous guest.
She was a great guest. Can't glad we can have her on.
We would love to continue to read reviews as they come in, good or bad. I will draw a line. If you just put like one line of negative stuff, I probably won't listen to that. But the other reviews we will happily read on the show. Thank you so much for just participating in any way. Um,
Yeah.
that being said, we've already talked for like 30 minutes.
Oh gosh, yeah, we did.
I know. You know what? It's been a big week, and I kind of needed this as a good sort of functional decomposition in my brain. So I needed this.
Yeah.
But as it is, it's time to move on to an episode, and that is Book 3, Fire, Episode 9. It's called Nightmares and Daydreams, and it's probably one of the most literal titles of any episode in the entire show. Interesting episode. Chris, take it away.
All right, so the invasion is only 4 days away. Team Avatar arrives at Camille Bay, and they have nothing to do except for just, gosh, I'm a lot like Aang now that I think about it. Got
Just
days up
sitting
into
and waiting, and there's nothing you can do about it except get
Yeah.
anxious. It's all right.
I don't know why I'm just not real. I watched this episode today. Like, yeah, so had an interview, was nervous for like 3 days straight, maybe four. Mirrored a lot of this.
Very timely.
And thing is,
Very timely.
sometimes anytime I get anxious about something, I do have dreams about it. So yeah, I completely relate to Aang in this sense. But anyway, he gets
That part I'm jealous because when I'm anxious, I just don't sleep. Like I dream regularly, good, bad, whatever. When I get anxious, I just don't sleep. It's terrible.
yeah, no, I'm a good sleeper.
I'm a bad sleeper.
Um, yeah, so Aang is getting really nervous and getting a lot of anxiety. He has to face the Fire Lord in like 3 days. He doesn't feel prepared at all. He doesn't know firebending. He just continues to go out of his mind, essentially. And he decides he can't sleep like you apparently. So man, Aang's just multifaceted in this episode.
It's actually his was kind of an active choice. Like he kept having these nightmares. He's like, whatever, I'm just gonna train, and he just did. I'm not useful when I stay up. I just lay in bed and stare at the ceiling and get really mad.
Oh gosh, that
It's
sounds
horrible.
horrible.
It's horrible. So ever since I've gotten the 3DS and now the Switch, that I have like good portable handhelds for the first time in my life. That helps. Doesn't help me go to sleep. It helps me not get mad.
Yeah, okay. That's
Thanks,
better.
Nintendo. I appreciate it.
That's what Aang decides to do more training and training, and yeah, it's literally, and he keeps having nightmares, and these nightmares are all really interesting because they're all kind of different anime styles.
Yeah,
Like there's
that's my
clearly,
favorite.
yeah, there's clearly one that's Dragon Ball Z inspired, clearly one that's Naruto inspired, and there's a couple other ones that I'm just not completely sure what they are.
And I mean, they could be
Um,
plucking from different places or whatever. I don't know
yeah,
Naruto, but Dragon Ball's the very first one, right, where he's like not wearing the
yeah.
pants, and so then Naruto is probably the second one. I don't
I think the
necessarily know
second
the
one might be
differences.
Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason, he looks like Seto Kaiba.
Oh,
He
he
has that
does. He's
like,
got like the straight up hair in the second one, doesn't he?
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's funny. No, I didn't pick up on all of them, other than I'm an Akira Toriyama fan, so I did pick up on the Dragon Ball.
yeah. It's funny because you're not a big Dragon Ball Z fan, right?
I just haven't. What I've watched, I have really enjoyed. And actually, it's just one of those things that I haven't made it all the way through. So, original Dragon
Oh,
Ball,
okay.
love it. Absolutely love the original. And then what I've
Hmm.
watched of Dragon Ball Z, I have also sincerely enjoyed. Just it's on the backlog like everything else. But Akira
Okay.
Toriyama, Dragon Quest guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Dragon Quest guy, but I am a Dragon Ball Z guy, or at least I used to be. I've kind of it's gotten worse as not a lot worse, but it's just I just see a lot more faults in the show since
Yeah.
growing up.
I mean, this is a
But,
series, not a show, but a series that's been going on for like, what, 30 years almost now. The original Dragon Ball, that was late 80s or
like
really early 90s.
80s,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
it's.
it's not like One Piece. It's a. I mean, they just came back like a couple of years ago, maybe like 5 years ago or
I
something like
want
that.
to. Is that another Shonen Jump? One Piece? Is that also Shonen?
Yes.
So
Apparently that's been going on for like I don't even know, maybe like 10 years or something. I'm not for certain.
people tell me I will like it because like Bleach was a little too it's sort of heavy and much for me. So everybody's like, well, watch One Piece. It's like the right level of the art style is off putting to me for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sure I'd like it if I gave it a chance.
Hmm.
I'll try it again someday.
Yeah. Man, okay, where were we in there? Oh, so Aang
So
keeps having nightmares.
yeah, I mean, between the
He
nightmares,
has
he does train, and Katara tries to. I'm still in this part because it's like my favorite part. It's like Katara tries to calm him
okay.
with yoga, with hot yoga, and then it like turns into him like paranoia about being hot in the Fire Nation, and then when she sends him over to Sokka for like a fake psychology, like a fake therapy session, and he's got his beard on and everything.
Yeah.
At the end of the session,
And tough.
there's a
I'll
lot
keep
of
going.
good like little comedy bits in this episode. He's like at the end of the episode, he's
Yes.
like, or that session is like, "Would you like to scream into this pillow?" And it's one of the sheep things, whatever the sheep are half something
Like
else.
a wolf sheep,
I
maybe?
don't. It's something kind of off kilter like that. Something kind of ironic. And
Yeah.
he screams into the sheep, and Sokka's like, "Yeah." It's just, Aang's like, "No." I don't know. This is a really wacky episode. Okay, I interrupted you though. That's just one of my favorite parts. And then there's also just a tidbit where I see Toph pick her nose and flick a booger again, and that's always
I
funny.
noticed that too.
Yeah, that's always funny to me. A good booger flick.
That's just animation purity right
It
there.
is, and when you get a good flick animation and it sounds good and looks good, it just it's the height
Like
of
the thing is,
precision.
weirdly thing I did notice that the characters in Avatar, I think more so than any anime, they feel the universe feel lived in, right? Like they do things that normal humans do,
Yeah,
and in the way even the way their clothes move. Like there's a image we'll get to, Katara's talking to Aang, and like her hair is blowing in the wind, but it's so subtle, right? It's not like whoosh. It's just that's how hair just kind of blows in the wind.
yeah.
Animation is done really really well.
Or even like even just the sleeping. The series doesn't gloss over sleeping or hunger. The day to day. It doesn't turn them into a game like some kind of Hideo Kojima nonsense where it's the focus. But it doesn't gloss over those relatable day to day human aspects in its
Yeah.
animation or its storytelling.
Yep. So in some of his nightmares, he faces the Fire Lord. In one, he forgets his pants. Another one, he has his pants on, but he's like, "Well, you forgot about your mathematician test, your mathematics test." it's, just- it's so random. Um, and then I forgot what happened in the other one.
I do
But then
too.
Aang is just like up early training, and like everybody wakes up. It's like. Guitar's pretty much like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, "I'm training. Then I got practice for my math test. Sokka, run up that. Run up that
Climb that
cliff,
hill.
quick. Climb that cliff, quick. What? Why? Because I had a dream that you tried to climb up a cliff, but you couldn't. I'm a great climber. But he's not a great
He's not.
climber.
He's like begrudgingly, slowly. And
Yeah.
then he has one for Toph that's stupid, and one for Katara that's stupid, like his little dreams. And then he talks about he's got like a fake Fire Lord set up as like a scarecrow, and I forget what he says. I wish I'd have written it down. Something about like needing impeccable strategy, or the Fire Lord's
Yeah.
using impeccable strategy or whatever, and then its head just like tilts to the side or something stupid like that. But then
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
After the third dream, he just straight up starts like tripping balls.
Oh, it is.
It's freaky.
Like if we thought Sokka tripping balls was hilarious, or just out there, Aang tripping, like Sokka tripping balls is from the outside perspective.
It is. That's a
of
third
him
person thing.
tripping. Yeah, but Aang is like, no, you're in Aang's head.
And so you don't know any better. You're also just seeing Momo and Appa pick a fight in like an exaggerated karate style with the sheep chanting. It's pretty jacked up.
It starts off kind of subtly, right? He's talking to Katara. This is when things kind of go way downhill, and then eventually he's just like, Katara, I've been thinking a lot, and he just like kisses her, and like they have this very intimate kiss. He's like, and at that point, it still feels a little real.
You're hopeful that like the tiredness is like embrazened him, kind of.
Yeah.
To go. And,
but then he says, "Sugar," or he says something like, "You're my forever girl." I was like, "Why is that so easy? That can't be real."
I also like the voice acting in that whole part, and maybe they did it on purpose, but I think it's just because the person playing Aang like had to keep they were trying to go for like the low register the whole time. I don't know if you noticed, it was really flat. He's like, Katara, I've been thinking about this for a really long time, and like, I think it's just because they're aiming for a lower tone. But
I know his voice did change in between season 2 and 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I don't think. For real?
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. Oh, you can easily hear the difference.
I mean, I'm sure if I like side by sided them, I'd probably be able to, or I hope I'd be able to, but I certainly didn't in an organic way.
I don't think for some reason, even though I don't have like a very deep voice, I like to brag about when my voice changed, because I feel like we had this conversation before on this podcast.
We like to address the personal questions.
Yeah, we like to address Chris's puberty every now and then.
No, I'll hit you with mine that's not as impressive when you're done with yours.
But my parents were out of town at a CB convention. Another story. Like CB radios.
Sounds like an awesome story. Forget puberty. Tell me what your parents did for a living. No, I'm just kidding.
My dad is like a CB radio personality. Like
that is,
it's a whole.
It's a whole.
Yeah. It's a whole culture thing. Like people will fly him out to judge CB radio competitions. Anyway, they're out of town. And my mom calls the home, and I pick up. I'm like, hello, even though my voice isn't that deep. Hello. And she's like, who is this? It's me, Ryan. Because like, no, who is it? Like, no, Mama, it's me. Ryan? What? I was like, yeah. Like, and things I didn't notice at all.
Yeah, you don't.
She's like, boy, I thought you were a man. I thought just one of your sisters had a boy over or something. I don't think my voice was ever deeper than that. Because now my voice is fine. It's deep.
Well, when you have kids, it goes up into a slightly higher register. Well, I don't know if you do it subconsciously.
Usually Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it like 20 times. I'm getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah,
my son loves it.
Your son was really getting into the repeat mode with that one, but
yeah. But Miles is like, this is puberty. He was like, wait, no, why'd I say that? I've already gone through puberty. I'm done. I'm a man. And I found that so stupidly relatable.
I hit puberty. I can't remember what grade it was, but I just got the horrible little mustache just right here. That's it. and my mom wouldn't let me shave. She's like, no, because if you start shaving just for that part, it's going to irritate your skin and all that stuff. So I had to use, my mom made me use Nair on my nasty little mustache for like a year until it started coming in a little more everywhere else. And finally, she let me shave. And then ever since then, I've hated shaving. So in a way, she was right, but I don't want to use Nair either. But then I remember being in class and my voice didn't get deeper. My voice right now is nasally and I crack sometimes. Well, when I was going through puberty, it was like 10 times as bad. Like I couldn't speak in class sometimes because it was just me all crackly and stuff. Like the guy from The Simpsons, that random guy that works in the stores and things. That's what my voice sounded like in my head for like 2 years in school. It was horrible. Horrible. I don't want to.
For some reason, I just think you had a voice like John Mulaney or something. Anytime he tries to sound like himself, but as a kid.
I just want to sit here and feed my bird. Wait, no, that's not him as a kid. Never mind. No, actually, that's probably not far off. We both have kind of nasally voices and that scrawny Catholic kid setup going on. So yeah, get it. Yeah. So that's our puberty. Comment below with your own puberty stories. Make Shawn feel better. See, I'm trying not to be pompous by sharing these humbling stories that I had in my life. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I don't remember where we were in the episode, though. I'm sure it was a good spot.
Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Momo. Oh, so Katara and Aang kissed, but then he's like, oh no. He realized that he's just daydreaming. She's like, Aang, what were you doing? He's like, oh, just daydreaming. She's like, about what? What would it be like to live underwater? She's like, sounds neat. Mm-hmm. I think Katara probably would think that sounds neat.
Yeah, it sounds
I found that exchange. Yeah. Anyway, he continues not to get any sleep. He starts going crazy, and he starts talking to Momo. And then like Momo talks back. He's like, God, you got to get it together. Or wait, no, that's him. No, Momo is encouraging Aang's like weirdness, and like Appa comes in and is like, you really need to take care of yourself, man. And like Appa standing up on 2 legs is like the weirdest.
Really weird. Well, and his voice fits him, but there's just like too much new Appa stuff going on at one time with the upright and the voice. And
I wonder was it D. Bradley Baker who voiced it? I'm assuming it was D. Bradley Baker who always does the voices for the animals. He probably did the voice for them this time around. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to look it up. I probably won't be able to find it.
Just, you can take our word for it. It's an interesting scene that evolves into an argument, and then they're like fighting in full anime mode again. I'm not sure what that one's making fun of, but what finally turns though something. Oh, Aang goes back to the group, and they have made him like a pillow, like an actual big, really comfy looking. I don't know if they just stuffed a bunch of sheep together or whatever.
Yeah. Oh wait. Before we get to that, we gotta go. I think we should dive more into the hallucination that he has. So, Aang, some of the best ones. He imagines there's like an image of Toph, and like the camera pans to her.
Oh yeah.
And it's just
kind of gross.
And her eyes, like her veins come out the way, and it's just weird.
And there's not really eyes there. It's just like. It's not sockets. It's just like flat, kind of.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
And then there's one of Momo just doing this. Like, where did they come up with all these things?
It's pure tripping balls. I've never tripped balls, but I imagine if you did certain kinds of drugs, this is what it would feel like if you were in an anime universe. Probably a lot.
I've never been high. I've never been high before. It's not like it's a regret in life. It's just, I'll never know how that feels. If you've been high before, let us know how your trip was. We want to know about we want to know how your puberty was and your trips.
I don't know if this episode makes a good case for tripping though either, to be honest. Let's be it doesn't make a real strong positive case for it. So
yeah.
Well, it's funny at least. You know what? I do love the varying anime styles, and like the first hallucination is my favorite because it's like, but you're not wearing pants, and then there's which is like a dream cliche kind of, but then the callback to it later is kind of funny. I think. Yeah. Which maybe it's time to get to that callback now. I don't actually know. That one he's sleeping on. Like it's a bed made of sheep or something. I don't really remember. But the group makes him a nice bed after all of his craziness, and he's still like paranoid, but he's still like kind of crawling on there anyway, even though he's paranoid and losing his mind. But he crawls on there, falls asleep, and then he has another dream where the Fire Lord's like, "But you're not wearing pants," and he's like, "No, you're not wearing any pants." And then Ozai like screams really goofy and runs out of the picture. So he like finally has
Yeah,
a good.
yeah, he said something like the royal
The royal
undergarments.
jewels or something, or should the royal jewels are showing, or the royal
Yeah,
something kind of semi child perverted like that, high quality stuff. Um, yeah, and then he does finally get some sleep. Everybody convinces him. Oh, they give him like a pep talk too, like, "Hey, we know you're gonna do great.
yeah,
We're all proud of you," and that urges him into bed slightly.
that kind of reassures him that
Yeah.
like, all right, everything's gonna be fine. He
At
has
least
this.
enough to get him to lay down where he passes out organically. Um, and
Yeah,
then this whole time, I will let you dig into. This whole time there has been kind of a minor B plot going on. I just figured we'd save it till the end because it's fairly small.
yeah. So there's a big war meeting going on in the Fire Nation, and Zuko is not invited to it. But Zuko feels like really kind of insecure about it. He's like, I'm back in the Fire Nation, but my father's still not inviting me to things. And he asks Azula about it. And Azula, I love the way she's just so freaking cavalier about it. Like, he's like,
But she looks cute
like,
there. She's very attractive when
oh
she's
yeah,
getting on there.
she's very relaxed, getting her nails done, hair's getting done. She's getting ready for the big meeting, really.
It's good look for
Zuko's
which, yeah,
like,
kind of stresses the importance of this meeting that Zuko thinks he's not invited to.
yeah, and 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 Zuko's like, well, were you invited? And she's like, well, yes, of course I was invited. He's like, but I wasn't. She's like, well, yeah, just, oh no, he said, the wording is, were you invited? And Zuko says, well, yes, I'm invited. I'm the princess, but I'm the prince. And then she says, well, act like it and just go.
Which
Like,
is pretty solid advice.
yeah,
Like coming
which,
from Azula especially, you're like, is she trying to get him in trouble? It's
yeah,
like, no, that's actually pretty appropriate here.
I kind of do think Azula's kind of interesting, and I mean, she's always interesting. She's a really interesting character, but she's interesting in the way that she's not necessarily antagonizing towards Zuko in this first half of the season. Maybe only one time where she was like, hey, the Avatar might be alive, and if he is alive, it's all going to go on you. Other than that, the rest of the season, she's been like
But even that, one could
fairly.
argue that that was kind of a. I mean, it. My impression is that it came off maliciously, but one could make an argument at least that that was
Yeah,
kind of a helpful warning, like, hey, you better make sure you've got your loose ends tied up.
yeah.
And
I mean, honestly,
it
it's
was a good
really, now
point.
that I think about it, she did a lot. When she talked to Zuko, she got him to admit that he was going to go see Iroh. She was like, "You shouldn't do that. People will start thinking you're conspiring with Uncle Iroh." At the beach, she went and go and found him, and they really she purposely went out of her way to find her brother being all melancholy on the beach. And here
Gosh.
again, she's like, "Yeah, just go to the thing, Zuko." Like she's weirdly being a I wouldn't say I wouldn't go as far as saying a good sister, but at least an indifferent sister, or
I
yeah,
think
it's somewhere between indifferent and good.
at least sort of like politically helpful because at least this would be my suspicion of the motivation is that the pieces are kind of sort of starting to fall in place. Like they think the Avatar is dead. Everything's starting to settle down. Like she can see how the pieces are going to and should fall into place, so she doesn't have to play the other part of the game anymore. Like she can just.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm articulating myself pretty well, but like she
maybe
is
she's
very
letting her guard
motivated by
down,
an
or
end goal, and now that end goal is kind of in sight and fallen in a way that she anticipates, so she doesn't have to use Zuko as a tool in the same way anymore. If she does, it's as a member of the royal family. So it,
yeah,
that would be my interpretation, but I'm sure smarter minds would have different looks.
no,
Like,
I think that's fair.
got to get Jamie's take on this. She should be here right now, so we can apologize in person. I did. I am her. She gets.
uh, um, and then so the war meeting's happening. Zuko decides not to go because he's scared because last time he did something that he shouldn't have done in a war room. He had an acting guy, and his father burned him. And he's with May, and one of the like assistants, something's like, Prince Zuko, like we all are anticipating your arrival at the war meeting. It's like everybody. It says, yeah, it's all of the generals and the Fire Princess. They have all arrived. The Fire Lord said he will not start until you arrived. And then like
What a nice feeling.
that's like, yeah, it was a nice feeling for Zuko. Um, and he goes to the meeting. He comes back. May is like, congratulations, like you got everything you wanted. And Zuko's like, yeah, I was the perfect prince, but I just wasn't me. Like I was literally at my father's right hand, like, and something fell off. And this was finally Zuko getting absolutely everything that he thought he wanted, and he just didn't feel like himself. He didn't, which goes back to what his mom told him before she escaped, and vanished. Was like, Zuko, never forget who you are. Like he's not himself in that moment, and that moment will be more attention and light will be brought to that moment later on in the series, which I would have kind of preferred if they did it here. I mean, I get why they did it in the episode of is that called Old Masters? No, I forget what that first episode is called of the finale. I mean, Sozin's Comet, something something.
I don't remember the four names at
But pretty
all.
much,
I think the Old
he tells.
Masters is before the
Yeah,
finale.
it's the Old Masters is the third to the last episode.
Okay.
What is the? I can't figure it out. That bugs me. I
I don't
don't know
remember
what it
either.
is.
I'll remember when
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to type it into a PowerPoint
But
5 times. Call me in
but
a
he
few
explains
weeks.
to in the episode he explains to Team Avatar what the Fire Lord's plan is and how diabolical it is. He's going to burn down the Earth Kingdom. Like I would have liked if they just had that moment here, or maybe they just had a minute of that moment of just a part of him being in that
Some
war room right here.
foreshadowing.
So it's a kind
Yeah.
of a yeah. So that way you can see like Zuko's uncomfortable at this meeting, like subtly that he's uncomfortable. And then later on, you can still have that flashback to this meeting, and you can see exactly why he's uncomfortable. But I would have liked him kind of in that meeting and just observing everything around him, and he can come to that realization in that meeting that that's not who he is. So it'll be a small change, but I think it'll be a good change.
I can see that. Just like a little clever. It would be pretty clever foreshadowing to have noted it here and then bring it out later.
Yeah, yeah.
Such is life. So that is the episode. I think it ends with a gosh, I can't even remember now if it ends with the good dreams where the Fire Lord's not wearing the pants, or if it ends with
I think so.
Zuko.
I think it ends with the dream.
With the good dreams, yeah. But interesting episode, and that B plot is probably more presence, like probably has more presence than we gave it time for. But it's mostly just him ordering Mai a fruit tart, and that's about it. With that, let us get to. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I was about to start.
It's your ratings. I demand you go ahead.
So audio visual gets a 8.5 out of 10. This is mostly just because of the different animation styles and just the creepy visual imagery that they pulled off in this episode. That's really what jumped it up to this 8.5. Story just got a 7. You could have done without most of this. Pretty much you could have just had like the 5 minutes of Zuko in there that I think is fairly essential to the story. Everything else wasn't that consequential. But so it only gets a 7. Memorable. This is a very memorable episode. This is not one of my favorite episodes. I can skip a good portion of it, I guess. But it's a really funny episode. Like it might be the funniest episode that's just consistently funny. I mean, it's made to be that way because there's not that much story in the A plot. Yeah, so really, really fun. Gets an 8 out of 10. Brings away the average score to a 7.7 out of 10 because I weigh story a lot.
And second week in a row where we're really close. Not quite as close as last week. I did 9 on audiovisual because I couldn't think of that many episodes that had sort of bigger, broader animation. A lot of good sound effects and everything too. So, big fan of the audiovisuals. Story felt the same way. There is a story here, but it's literally just padding a fluffy A plot around Zuko's little tiny B plot. That is about all you need. It's not bad though. I mean, at least it all fits together. Memorable. It's not, again, probably not real high on my favorites list or something that I think about a ton. But it's just weird enough. It's funny enough that I think about it a lot. It's easy to come to mind as soon as I start watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's this one. 8.1 just because I weigh story a little less to the extreme, but we were pretty close. Brought us out to a 7.9. So not a great episode, but it is funny. I don't. It's not one I would ever skip. Like there's no reason for me to skip it because it's entertaining enough. But it certainly sticks out in an unusual way that I could totally see if somebody came up and was like, I don't like this episode. I get that. I can see that. A lot of good humor, though. A lot of clever humor and bits like that. So that's it. That's Nightmares and Daydreams. And I had to capture Aang's end on a positive note, even if it's him on... Well, he's not on drugs. He's on natural drugs. Next
thing
week...
is, the most loopy that I get, because I would go without sleep. Like, anytime I would like stay up really late at night, it's probably the most loopy that I ever get, which isn't that much loopy, but yeah, it's probably like I've never really been drunk in my life, so the most time anyone's ever seen me remotely inebriated isn't the word. It's probably when I just lack sleep.
Do you remember being an RA? How there's only a certain number of nights that you can like be away from the building.
Oh yeah.
So kind of like days off, but literal like nights that you can be out. Well, I had a pretty nice building and a pretty nice boss. Is like, listen, my girlfriend lives in Emporia, and when I go out there, I want to like do a long weekend if possible. It's like, what is the latest that I have to stay for it to qualify? And it was 3 a.m. They said if you stay till 3 a.m. after that time, the majority of the fire alarms and everything like that has already happened. So, like every other weekend on Friday night, I would stay up till essentially 3 a.m. Saturday morning, and then I would just drive. So I don't think it's a good idea. First of all, kids don't do that. I don't remember really endangering at any point in time, but I do remember being tired enough a couple of times as like, I would think that I would see like a pair of headlights in the rearview mirror, but then it turns out that it was just like my lights reflecting off a sign off another, or something like really minute like that. I was like, all right, maybe not safe to drive. Kids, don't do that, or at least sleep beforehand. Sleep until 3 and then go. That's about as trippy as I get, seeing headlights that aren't there. So next week it's going to be an interesting week. Next week was supposed to be the day before con. We had some things planned, so we're going to do something different. We don't have it hashed out yet, and I don't want to spoil anything or promise anything we can't deliver. But it's been a crazy week, and we don't want to deviate from the plans. We want to do something special next week, something fun. It's a little different, little unique. Got some plans in the works. Keep your eyes open. It should be a lot of fun. I feel like I'm already giving too much away. Chris, other stuff I need to mention about next week or this week? I don't give anything.
No, I look forward to next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun and different. So thank you.
One of those special episodes.
Yeah, which our last special episode, I consider special episodes like the puns and chips, which inspired somebody so much to write a comment about it. That got a lot of views. That was good. And then the top 10 moments
of Avatar. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. Hopefully this one does does respectfully good in the same way as those. So in the meantime, thank you for being here during this episode. We're very grateful, and we hope you're all safe and healthy and all that stuff. Thank you as always for watching. My name is Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek, even if I'm not supposed to be saying last names, my bad. And we will see you next time. Jamie, we're sorry.